Bershos Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbanim, esteemed guests, good evening to everybody, and thank you all for coming, giving us chizak. It's a true inspiration for us to see so many coming out to support the brand new Chesterfield Kolell. Although there are countless people that I would really need to thank, and every single person truly deserves an individual thank you, my time slot simply does not afford me that opportunity. But the truth is, Yehuda kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but there is truly one person that, on my personal level, that made this entire job of running the Kollel. Everyone thinks that I was doing everything, but in truth is, Mrs. Figi Bienstock was truly doing everything from beginning to end. Besides for every single aspect of running the Kollel, every single time I had an issue and what to deal with in running the Kollel, to the Bienstock's home I went, no matter what hour it was, and Yehuda and Figi were there with a strategy on how to proceed. I can literally say with confidence that without Figi and Rabbi Yehuda's dedication, work, vision to bring a Kollel to Chesterfield, we would not be sitting here today. Thank you both for all you do for the Kollel, our shul, and Chesterfield, Missouri as a whole. I have been given tonight the impossible job of thanking the shul and introducing my father in but a few minutes, but I will do my best. The Chovos HaLevavos explains how our entire obligation of Avodas Hashem is based on the midah of Hakaras HaTov. He explains how our ability to focus on gratitude to Hashem directly reflects our ability to serve Hashem, and without that understanding of how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows upon us, it would be impossible to serve Hashem correctly. Having the proper appreciation of the kindness is literally the cornerstone of our faith, the cornerstone of our religion. During the Parshas HaChodesh, which Amir Hashem we will read in a few weeks, we read about the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. Says Hashem to Klal Yisrael, HaChodesh hazeh lachem Rosh Chodashim. This will be the beginning of all months. This month, the month of Nisan, will be the first, from now on, be the start of the year and how you count your months. Explains the Medrash Rabbah that before the Exodus, before Yetzias Mitzrayim, the world used to count the months starting from Tishrei, the birth of the world. But says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Klal Yisrael, now that you have been saved from your bitter servitude in the month of Nisan, I want you now to begin your year with Nisan and count the months onward from then. Explains the Ramban, echoing the Medrash, that counting in this fashion would serve as a constant reminder of the miraculous events of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Because now, every single month you will say to yourself, month 1, the month that we were redeemed in. Month 2, the second month since our Geula. Explains the Ramban that in this fashion we will always have a constant reminder of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's chesed, and the Eitz Yosef on the Medrash Rabbah says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, specifically wanted us to count in this manner to show us His love. Leharos ahavaso, says the Eitz Yosef. At first sight, the words of these holy Chazal seem puzzling. Can you imagine living in the first few years after your Yetzias Mitzrayim? Witnessing the greatest of open miracles literally in the history of our nation. The Sinai revelation, living with Moshe Rabbeinu as your Rebbe. The clouds of glory, the Anani HaKavod, the man falling from Shemayim. Why would we need any extra chizak, any extra reminder of Hashem's redemption and a sign for His eternal love? We saw it. We saw the Exodus. We saw Yetzias Mitzrayim. We were there. We say Shema Yisrael every day, Yisrael Yetzias Mitzrayim. We see your love, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We see your miraculous clouds of glory. We see the heavenly bread falling from Shemayim. We know how much you care for us, yet still Hashem says to His people, take another initiative. Take another opportunity. Take a moment to focus on the chesed that's been done to you. Take a moment to focus and appreciate HaKadosh Baruch Hu's love and every aspect of everything that you've been given. There's a most powerful lesson to be learned from this chazal. Apparently, look how easily one can forget even the most amazing miracles and miraculous events in a person's life. Look how we can get so used to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's love, we can literally forget it's there. And what's the advice that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us? How do we combat this potentially dangerous, deadly state of ingratitude? Ingratitude, says Hashem, take a moment throughout your lives, take time, stop and focus, think about all the chesed that we receive, think about all the gifts that we get from Hashem. Think about our children, think about our families, our lives. Even Yetzias Mitzrayim needs constant reminder, constant focus to fully appreciate, to fully have the Hakaras HaTov, to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had done for us. It's so important, apparently, to strive and to make effort to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hand in our life. Many times it takes a moment of introspection to reanalyze our lives, to actually see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been actually orchestrating everything from the very beginning. And although it may be challenging, we must never be guilty of chas v'shalom, writing off our lives to happenstance and chance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the divine story of Chesterfield, Missouri. It begins way back when two brothers living in Brooklyn, when their father decided to send to Yeshivas Chavetz Chaim in Queens. And it just happens that this yeshiva, headed by Reb Henoch Leibowitz, who uniquely imbued his Talmidim with a dream, a vision of building Torah west of New York, and in a time when sending your own Talmidim to do kiruv outside of New York and open yeshivas and shuls was considered unheard of, if not insane. Yet Reb Henoch continued to inculcate these lofty ideals into his students, and these two brothers made it their life mission to fulfill this dream. One of these brothers, my Uncle Kalman Zatzal, ultimately ended up as a Rav in Silver Spring, and the other ultimately took a rabbi position in Richmond, Virginia. Simultaneously, while this is going on, there's a shul in University City known as Tiferes Israel. When one day in 1973, their Rav, Rabbi Milton Polin, and a group of pioneers had an idea, a dream, a vision of relocating the shul to Chesterfield, Missouri, with the hope to one day grow an Orthodox community in a more suburban area of St. Louis. And as the years went by, the shul went through a number of rabbis, and ultimately in 1989, it just happened that the shul was looking for a new rabbi at the same time that my father, now in Richmond, Virginia, was looking for to relocate. And again, in a seeming coincidental manner, out of all the other candidates that the Tiferes Israel could have chose, they chose my father, and out of all the other positions available, my father and mother chose Chesterfield. But it just so happened that Chesterfield was not any ordinary community. Chesterfield was a community blessed with the most amazing, devoted Balabatim. As Reb Henoch used to always tell my father, you have the best Rabbanis in America. And throughout the years, every time my father and mother put everything on the line and challenged the community to grow spiritually, the core supporters rallied behind their rabbi, their Rav, and courageously followed his mission to grow in Ruchnius. And together in beautiful harmony, year after year, in a fashion perhaps unseen anywhere else in America, or anywhere else in the world, the rabbi and his Balabatim succeeded in taking their shul and community to new spiritual heights. Together they built an Erev, a mikvah, raised the mechitza twice, and accomplished the most deep levels of pure Torah and Musar. And might I interject to say, personally, what a schus it was for me to grow up in such a shul, to grow up in a shul and to witness literally self-sacrifice, mesiras nefesh, on a daily basis for Torah and for frumkeit. But the divine story continues. 9 years ago, my father again approached the community and the shul to bring in yeshiva literally into its building. When community building experts came to my father and came to the Balabatim and said, this is a mistake, do not take on this venture, to the shul, to my father, it made no difference, for the community needed another shul, another yeshiva, an option to send their children to. And again, the community rose to the challenge, and today, Baruch Hashem, we have Missouri Torah Institute. And then again, a year ago, in a seemingly happenstance of turn of events, in an almost unbelievable coincidence, the yeshiva found a perfect, beautiful building. And as the community was malava the yeshiva and danced the yeshiva into their new building, they perceived a new opportunity, a new vehicle of growth, a new potential way to grow in Ruchnius in the form of a full-time learning kollel. And perhaps the greatest illustration of the community's depth of chinuch and appreciation for limud Torah, you all, the men and women of Chesterfield, Missouri, you welcome the idea with open arms. How amazing it has been for me during this entire process to witness the desire from the Balabatim to have a shul, to have in its shul a kollel whose but one focus is limud HaTorah. The entire idea of our kollel is to learn with you b'chavrusa 101 with excitement during the night sedarim while maintaining a full-time learning schedule. And we saw again today, and we see together how much you desire that one opportunity, the appreciation of what it means to learn one extra blot of Gemara, one extra Chumash or Rashi. And then again, in a miraculous fashion, we needed somebody to run the kollel. We needed a leader to lead the rabbis in their learning, and it happened to be my cousin Rabbi Yitzchak, son of my uncle, Uncle Kalman Zatzal, happened to be the perfect fit to lead such a kollel, and at the time and right happened to be perfect for his family. Now, behold Chesterfield, Missouri today, come to our shul after Mariv, and all you will hear are the sounds of Black Gemara, the beautiful words of Chumash and Rashi, and the introspective words of the Chovos HaLevavos being learned by working individuals on all levels and all backgrounds. And again, how truly inspiring it has been for me that only after about a few weeks, our night Siddharim are packed with Balabatim whose desire and thirst for learning is never ending. And now, Rabbosai, take a step back. Take a good look at the story of Chesterfield, Missouri, and Tiferes Yisrael. It may be hard to see when we are so up close living here every day, but analyze the story from beginning to end, and you will see that together we are literally living in a magnificent tapestry of divine providence, a beautiful mosaic of Hashgacha Pratis, where Hashem has been carefully building up Chesterfield miracle by miracle, brick by brick, leading up to this very moment for the past 30 years. And how has it happened? With extraordinary families, and of course the leadership of my father, Rabbi Winter. At every step of the way, my father and mother have been there willing and ready to put everything on the line for Torah's emes, for the pure Torah's hashkafa. No matter the challenge, no matter the nisayon, my parents would never, chas v'shalom, risk diluting God's holy Torah. We are one Masorah, one message, one people, unchanged from the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. My parents' entire life is surrounded by the thoughts of how can I help my fellow Jew, no matter what background. And on a personal note, I must thank you all for giving me such an amazing opportunity to work for such a holy kehillah. And to be able to work alongside my father is something that I treasure every precious moment of. To witness my father's depth of hashkafa and understanding of how to teach Torah and Musar is so uplifting. To see firsthand how my father literally works hours and hours on every sermon as if it is the first and last he will ever give is a priceless lesson, how we take advantage of every opportunity to teach Balabatim. Nothing should go missed. Thank you, the men and women of Tiferes Yisrael, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to all the supporters of the Kollel. Thank you to my wife for being so supportive and instrumental in the running of the Kollel, and in truth, thank you to all the Kollel rabbis and their wives. We have been so blessed to have such an amazing families as part of the Kollel. Thank you to my parents for building such an amazing community for us to live in and getting the community up to this point to be ready for such a Kollel. And of course, thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who continues to help bringing Klal Yisrael to this very moment. This is truly a simcha for the entire Klal Yisrael. On that note, I would like to call upon my father, Rabbi Winter, to grace us with his beautiful words of Torah.